crazy to think that 20 years ago my debut album first came out, and I'm still enjoying it and having fun. I feel more creative now than I did then.
Rock, metal, prog, and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of Talkin' Rock with Meltdown. Don't forget to follow the audio-only Talkin' Rock podcast on all podcast platforms. And now, it's time for today's conversation. Here's Meltdown.
Wednesday, good to make your acquaintance. How's things with you, man?
It is good. It is almost Wednesday.
Yeah,
So
almost. Yeah.
almost. That's a good thing.
As we record this, that's right. Hey, real fast before we start, I just want to give a shout out to your drummer, Mike. I know he's going through some stuff with his son right now. It's funny because he grew up here in Michigan, and I've never had a chance to meet him, but he's kind of contacted me here and there, and we've kind of played tag a little bit, but seems like a really good dude.
He's great, man. He's a killer drummer, and it's just unfortunate that him and his son are going through this situation again. But his son Rhett's such a trooper and such a good kid, and I got to know him over the years, and he's going to pull through this. So Mike's got some good news lately with the doctors, and so I think they're going to be able to get this under control, and hopefully by the end of the year we will have some even better news, and it just gets better from this point forward. So we wish the best for him. So it's just these things in life, man. You don't expect these things.
Yeah, as a parent, it's like it really hits home. And then my friend Johnny Kelly told me to send his love, and he said, yeah, he goes, Wednesday's a great guy. Of course, we've never had a chance to talk, so I texted some of my friends. I'm like, give me something to talk to Wednesday about.
Yeah, Johnny's another great guy, man. This cool experience. I got to tour with Type O Negative right around the time, right before they stopped touring. I got to become really good friends with those dudes, and I've remained in contact with Johnny since Murder Dolls and then 2003. So I've just been friends with that dude forever, and I saw him recently with Quiet Riot, and he's just he's one of the good ones out there. I like to include him in my pack of good people.
Yeah, he's a great person. So you're going to be playing the Machine Shop coming up on April 26th on the No Such Thing as Monsters tour. We'll get to that here in just a second. But I saw that you guys were playing the Friday when the record drops on April 25th in Columbus.
Yes.
And then you're driving up here, and I got a proposition for you. So my friend runs this place called the Michigan Museum of Horror, and it's on your way through here. So you should stop in there.
I think we might have to. We definitely do that on the way. I tell our tour manager and bus driver if we're ever driving, we hit toy stores, all kinds of stuff. So yes, if there's time, we will make that happen for sure.
Yeah, I was just there over the weekend. He's got about, I don't know, maybe like 20 human skulls. He's got horror paraphernalia all over the place. He's got stuff from serial killers. I mean, it's just insane.
Great. Sounds like it's my type of place.
Yeah. What was the last horror movie you watched?
Oh man, I'm really bad at watching anything new. But I am constantly watching old stuff as if it's brand new. So I just watched what did I just watch the other day? I was watching Day of the Dead because that's the one where they're in the daylight the most, and it was a nice day here in Burbank, and that's what reminded me. So I'm like, oh, it's a great day. Let me put on Day of the Dead.
You know, it's a great horror movie when it can take place during the daylight, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff like that. That's when you know it's good.
Exactly. Another great daylight movie.
Yeah. So the last movie I just saw it over the weekend, was The Monkey.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you familiar with that one?
I've heard about it, but I can't help but think about the movie from the late 80s, which was called Monkey Shines. Remember this movie?
Yeah.
So I kept thinking, is this a remake of Monkey Shines? But no, I don't know anything about the movie other than it's called The Monkey, and that little monkey, I used to have that toy when I was a kid, a little wind up, one of my first toys I remember. It terrified me. So I don't know anything about it, but maybe I'll see it when I get on tour. I'm so busy till I get on tour, and then I start watching movies. So it'll be on the queue there.
Well, it'll terrify you if you had one of those as a kid. But as like I say about that movie, and as you described your record, it's fun, campy, leave your brain at the door, which is kind of like The Monkey. But that's the mid-death crisis as far as your description of it. So tell me about the album.
New album, Mid-Death Crisis. We just released the first single last week, When the Devil Commands. Album out on April 25th, Napalm Records. I've already got my copy. The technology, they make this stuff already. This is the album cover, and I'm excited for it. This is album number 10 for me, which is crazy to think that 20 years ago my debut album first came out, and I didn't even know what was going to happen, and here I am, 10th album. It's insane to think that I've survived this business and I'm still enjoying it and having fun, and I'm still being creative, and I feel more creative now than I did then. So this is a really inspiring time for me. I made a killer record, and the response from my fans has been excellent too. It's exactly what I needed. They're just firing me up for the rest of it.
Now, the first single, like you just mentioned, "When the Devil Commands." First of all, I describe it like kind of as chunky. Is that fair?
That's a good chunky guitar. It makes, I played that riff before I decided that it'd be in the single. I had the rough of it, and I played it on my tour bus. Just kind of didn't tell anybody what I was playing. I just kind of had the dun 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 dun. Just kind of had going, and I watched my light guy come in the room, and I saw his head start doing this. I went, I literally did a secret head move on this song on my tour and watched people do it. And I went, that's going to move people's heads. And that's why I went with that song. I don't think it's the best song on the record. But I think it's a good song. And I was trying to go for maybe the people in the back of the room that have their arms crossed that wouldn't give us the time of day. I kind of went for them on this, and I think I got a lot of people interested in the band. I knew my fans would be there to listen, but I kind of go for that person in the back that's not listening.
Right, I got you. So, first of all, it is killer. It's hooky, and it's got an awesome video. I mean, girls with their boobs taped up is always an awesome extra in any video. I would
Yeah.
have to say.
Yeah, I wanted to pull all the stops out on that. I mean, I'm a big hair metal guy. I grew up on the days of watching those larger than life videos. And when we did this video, we filmed inside of a church. And I thought, what would you never see in a church? And I made a list. And strippers, stripper pole, half naked girls, a snake, fire. We just went down the list, and as you see in the video, we got everything except for the fire, which we almost did. We just ran out of time.
All right, we'll talk about that in a second. But it's funny you
Yeah.
mentioned that because there's some funny scenes in the church and the monkey. I'm gonna whet your appetite for this movie.
Okay. All right.
So you say that that's not the best song in the record. You got 12 tracks here. What is the best song in the record in your opinion?
I don't even know. This is the hardest record I had to pick singles, and I literally had to like step out of myself and go, all right, well, this single should be the first one because of this. Then this one's because of this. The second single that's coming out on March 18th is the song In Misery. I feel like that's the song for my diehards. That's the one they're going to hear and I think be like, oh, this is what I think that's what my diehards would have expected from the first single. But every song on the record I'm proud of. There isn't a song on it that I don't like. I think the one of the most catchiest and most fun song on the record is a song called Decapitation, which is literally just about cutting people's heads off. And it's the most happy decapitation song out there. I dare you to find a happier one.
By the way, there's a great decapitation in the monkey, and I'm being serious. There is.
Oh, okay. There you go.
See, it's all working its way in. And so,
Yeah.
of course, you have that song "No Apologies" with "Tame Me Down." So, tell me about that. I saw some video of you guys kind of working that in the studio a little bit. But how do you get
Yeah.
"Tame Me" on a track?
I've known Tammy for a while now. I met him in 2010 when I moved to Los Angeles, and we became friends. I became friends with his band, Faster Pussycat, and all the guys in the band. We recently toured Australia, did 2 weeks with them there, and last summer I was in the studio recording the track "No Apologies." We'd already recorded the drums, guitar, and everything, and I came in with this lead guitar part that's the main hook of the song. So the na 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 na, that little guitar part, and our producer said, "That sounds like Faster Pussycat," and I went, "Yeah, it kind of does." And then he said, you should call up Tammy and have him sing on this. And I said, yeah, I should. And then I got my phone and I called him.
And
And
he,
I said, hey, you want to sing on this? And he said, tell me when and where. And he was there in a couple of days and he came down to the studio. We tracked it in a few hours and felt like we were in the same band for a couple hours. And that was it. And we got the track done. And then yesterday, we just filmed the music video with him. So this was very cool for me. And little quick story on that too. I learned how to play guitar from the first Faster Pussycat album. When I was 11 years old, no guitar lessons. A friend of mine gave me a guitar tablature book of Faster Pussycat. I didn't even know what tablature was. Someone explained it to me. I read it, I understood it, and I learned every note on their first album, and that's how I learned how to play guitar. And that's the only lessons I've ever had or any musical thing was from that album. So to have him be on my album is insane. It's a crazy thing. So it's more than just having a guy from Faster Pussycat. This is a guy that I feel like created. I wouldn't look and sound the way I sound without an influence on him. So this is a big thing, and that's how I'm rewarded in this business. It's not about money. It's not about that kind of stuff. It's having those type of people involved in my world is something I hold really close to my heart.
yeah, he is Faster Pussycat.
He is. He
Yeah.
is. I mean, I dyed my hair black because of Tammy. I wear these hats because of him. It's yeah. So yeah, I owe a lot to that guy, and he's been very supportive. He loves my band, and he loves the track. He keeps telling me how good of a song this is. I'm like, you got some good stuff too.
Now, you don't ride a Harley like he does, do you?
I'm too terrified. But if he
Okay.
wanted to take me for a ride around, I think that'd be a good photo opportunity there for people to see us. We would like Dumb and Dumber, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
It's funny. You're my brother's age, and my brother is a self-taught guitar player as well. And get this, he taught himself how to play by watching the videos in the '80s and putting his fingers where the guys he'd pause the TV.
That's how you had to do it. I had to do some stuff like that too. It's not like YouTube like it is these days. If I would have had that, I could be like Ingve. You could be talking to Ingve 13 right now, but instead you're not. You're talking to just average old 13. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's all right. But also on your bio, it said that my mother was constantly checking my cassettes and making sure I wasn't possessed by the devil. You know, I mean, I grew up in the '80s and stuff, and I can remember Ozzy and Motley was my first concert back in the day, and that was a big thing.
Mhm.
That was a big thing back then. You know, where the parents were concerned about all that stuff, and I guess did you grow up in a really strict household?
Yes and no. I grew up in North Carolina. There's a church on every corner, and then a corner on that corner. Just the Bible Belt. I mean, it was, and then during the 80s, that Satanic Panic stuff, there were church shows on every Sunday morning, and my mom watched the Jim Baker, Tammy Faye show every Sunday, and she was obsessed with that or any other show. And they would do segments on what are your children listening to? Be sure to go in their room and look at the cassettes. And if they're drawing pentagrams on their notebooks, they could be possessed. I had a pentagram on my notebook. I had a Poison logo, Cinderella, Motley Crue. You know, I wasn't Slayer. I wasn't into that stuff like then. But my mom was looking through that kind of stuff, and she was convinced I was possessed or going to become possessed by that. And so when I wrote the lyrics for the Devil Commands, I literally went back in a time machine and said, what if I could insert this Wednesday 13 album in between Poison and Whitesnake, and if my mom could read the lyrics of When the Devil Commands, and I literally wrote it from that point of view, like what would terrify my mom, and that song's to my mom.
What was your dad around growing up?
Yeah, yeah, my mom and dad both, but my dad didn't really wasn't my mom did all the investigating. She would tell him, "Oh, we got to watch him." My parents were awesome. They were so supportive and stuff, but that was just a big thing during the 80s, you know, and my mom was always watching me and making sure I wasn't getting into trouble and but because of that kind of stuff, I turned into to this, you know. So I wouldn't change it for a thing. I love my mom to death. And my mom passed a few years ago, so I had to write I had to write a good devil song for my mom to know I let her know I still care. I
Yeah.
even got this she hates The Exorcist, so I got this.
Oh yeah.
She was terrified of this, and I told her I got this because I watched how much it scared her as a child. So,
Yeah, it's funny. I
get
used
a mom
to,
tattoo next.
yeah, yeah. I used to ride my motorcycle in front of the front bay window just because my mom was so scared of it. I guess we did stuff like that just to terrorize our mothers.
You got to. It's all in love.
Yeah, that's true. Just talking to you, it's funny because I hearken back to the movie Trick or Treat when you were just talking about your seating
Oh,
and stuff. And then there's another newer movie out that I think you'd like called Saturday Night with the Devil, which is about a TV
I
show.
watched it. I
Yeah,
did see that.
I like
Yeah.
that movie. What'd you think of
I
that
thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. It was filmed really well. I liked it a lot. It was cool. Uh, but you said Trick or Treat. Sammy Kerr is the greatest fake rock star of all time. What a cool movie. And that movie is a perfect example of what was going on, exactly what I'm talking about. That time, that's how it was,
one?
and it seemed scary. I remember my parents leaving and being by myself and taking my brother's Shout at the Devil record and playing it backwards to see if I could hear anything. And I couldn't hear anything. I just ruined his needle and he punched me in the face later.
Yep.
That's all I got out of it, but I tried.
That is funny though, yeah, because I went and saw Trick or Treat with my friends like at midnight or something on a in a
Oh,
theater, and we were late teens or whatever it was, and yeah, you're exactly right. That's how it was.
that was such a cool movie. I'm gonna have to watch that again tonight, I think. Now we talked about it.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie, but yeah. So the tour is coming through, like I said, the Machine Shop on April 26th. Now, how many songs are you gonna be playing off this new material?
As of right now, we have the three singles we'll be playing mixed in with this tour. I'm sticking kind of celebrating my first album, Transylvania, so I'm playing quite a bit off of that. Mainly just sticking to the first three records, and then a few songs off the new album, and then I'm doing a little mini Murder Doll set in the middle of the of our shows too. Because the Murder Doll songs are so short, we can play like 10 songs in like 20 minutes, so I can bang them out real quick. And so yeah, that's the plan for the tour. And as of right now, we haven't did the rehearsal yet, so I got to basically set the stopwatch up and go, all right, here's the set list. Now let's see how long we can play. So there may be some songs that we pull from each night and go, all right, we didn't play this last night, but we're going to do this one tonight. And so I want to have a good arsenal of material, but I can't tell you how excited I am. We're all so ready to play. We didn't do that many shows last year, and we're stoked to get back out. And Machine Shop is without a doubt one of my favorite places to play in the world. It's Kevin at Machine Shop has been a great friend and taking care of us for years, and that show is going to be great. We can't wait for it.
Yeah, hopefully I can get a picture with you in the hallway there before you guys go on.
Oh, the famous hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So many shows there. I've lost count how many times I've played there.
yeah, no, it's a great venue. One of my favorite places. About an hour from here, and I get up there all the time. You just
Mhm.
mentioned you got the three singles that you're going to have out before then. Obviously, the record is going to be out when you come through and play at
Yes.
that show. But I have to ask you about the fire that took place. What song were you shooting a video for with that one?
That's for the next single, In Misery. That's the one that comes out March 18th. So quick short story on what happened with that. Uh, we filmed the video on location. I wanted to recreate, I wanted to make a graveyard. And we couldn't go to a graveyard out here in California, so I had to make a graveyard. And my video director said, "Hey, there's a company here that rents out trees for for movie sets because it's Hollywood. Everything's making movies out here, so you can literally rent trees and shrubbery. And so instead of renting these things and bringing them to us, we knew the owner, so we just went to his location and built a graveyard on set there.
Mhm.
And it was a fenced-in property, and it's trees everywhere, all kinds of crazy stuff. Built this amazing graveyard. Now this is all happening during the month of the wildfires out here in California. There's three huge wildfires going as we're filming this video in parts of California. And everyone's on edge because fires are starting just out of the blue, nowhere. We're filming our video. We're right next to the highway, which is probably 300 feet away from us. Third take of the video, I'm staring at the camera, and on the side of the highway, I see a flame just shoot out of nowhere, just a poof, the size of a truck. I mean, a big flame. And we all just panicked. We've been watching the news for, 2 weeks of these fires, and we're just like, there's one right in front of us.
Mm.
Everybody panicked. Everyone started running to their car because we were just going to leave. My brain said, we're going to lose our video. What the fuck? I'm not going to meet my deadlines. Just the wrong thoughts in my head. And I'm like, no, I'm putting this fire. So I run to the fire, see it. There's a fence separating us. I jumped over a fence. I'm in full makeup, full stage gear, and I see this fire burning there. And there was a empty planter bucket because all those trees were there. There was just some empty buckets there. And I saw on the news that they were using dirt to put out some of the fire. So I took a big scoop of dirt, I threw it on the fire, and it kind of did something. And I went, oh shit, grab buckets. So we all start grabbing buckets and we're throwing dirt on it because there's hoses everywhere on this property, but we can't get the water to turn on. It's
Mm.
the most frustrating thing. And we're literally pointing hoses and they're just drip.
Ugh.
And I'm like, dirt, dirt. So we're throwing dirt on it. And we put the fire out before the fire department got there. And the fire department got there and they put out the what was left, the embers and the whole thing. And then they told us that an arsonist had started fires on that highway for 2 weeks and they hadn't caught him. It's been happening every other day. So I'm convinced if we wouldn't have put it out, that would have burned that whole thing down. We'd have lost our cameras, drum sets, all of our props, our cars,
Yeah.
if I wouldn't have put it out. So my band was looking at me like, "What are you doing?" Like, because they were ready to leave, but I'm a country boy. I'm from North Carolina. I've had some fires break out in my backyard at a drinking session. So I was like, I got this. Let me try it. But we put it out, and if we wouldn't have, that would have been another big fire out here. So I did my duty, and we went back and filmed the video and got it done. So
Okay, I was going to say the video's finished.
video is finished. We literally took an hour out of our shoot. That was it.
Mm. And last thing I'm going to bring up to you here, and I'm not really sure what this is. I tried to search this out because Mike said something about Family Feud. I don't know what is that.
Yeah.
Were you on the show?
We no, we're just obsessed with Family Feud. Like a lot of people go, what does the band do on the bus? What are they doing up there? I wonder what they're doing. We're watching Family Feud most of the time. Usually after the show, like after everyone's loaded in, we shower everything. It's like we have like Family Feud night. We all sit on the bus and watch Family Feud as a group. It's one of the most fun, goofy things that we do for years, and that's just part of our thing. Steve Harvey's like our secret like bus tour manager.
That's awesome. Hey, by the way, do you prefer Wednesday or do you prefer 13?
People call me Wednesday, people call me Dub, people call me 13. I take all of it. I
Yeah,
take all the names. Yeah.
my friend John Five, you probably know. He's from here. I always call him Five. So
Yes, people call me 13. I know John very well too, another great guy. I just saw him recently too. So
I was going to say, you should get him on a record on a track.
it will happen one day, I'm sure. John's a big fan of my band. He loves my voice and he loves my autograph. He told me I have the coolest autograph. I'm like, really? He's like, it's just so cool. I'm like, okay, thank you. John's a great, and his Kiss collection is, whew,
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I always thought Zach Wilde's autograph was pretty cool. He's one of the more legible rock stars out there.
right, right. Yeah, and yeah, John likes my autograph. I'm like, it's okay. That's just something I worked on because I used to do the worst autograph and I shortened it and I just kind of do this little symbol thing now that I work the Kiss logo into, and I think that's why he likes it.
You grew up a big, huge Kiss fan. I take it.
Oh, dude, I got my Destroyer and my Alive poster behind me, original one, still from hanging back there. Kiss is a band that will never die to me. We listen to Kiss on the way to the stage, and as soon as we get off stage, we're playing it again. It never dies with us.
Was that what got you into music?
I would say it was a Kiss, Alice Cooper, Motley Crue, Twisted Sister. That was the bands. Kiss when I was they were getting out of the makeup when my first started remembering. My brother had their posters all over the wall, so I was still like, what is that? Then he handed me down the Kiss dolls. I had half naked Gene Simmons for my birthday as a gift from my brother. I'm like, what is this? So yeah, it's been there since the beginning. I think my brother doesn't realize how much of an influence he was on me because he's not into music or anything now, but like he's the one that showed me Shout at the Devil on vinyl. I'm like, you started this.
Yeah, I've got my original from when I was a kid still to this day. So, well,
Yeah.
13, I'll tell you what, we'll cut you loose here. Coming up to the machine shop, the world famous April 26th, but the day before that, mid-death crisis. I got to catch myself there. Mid-death
Yeah.
crisis comes out. Congratulations on everything, dude. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, thank you. And we should have some copies of that for sale at the machine shop. We're doing the CD release the night before, so whatever's left over, we'll have there. But yeah, it's going to be a good thing, and we can't wait for machine shop. Like I said, one of our favorite places.